I am not picking on this commenter, but this perfectly illustrates some pushback that I get quite a bit in my comments, and I wanted to talk about it. Anytime I say that Donald Trump is not allowed to do XYZ, it's illegal for him to cancel the midterms. It's illegal for ICE to violate your Fourth Amendment right and to bust into your home without a search warrant signed by a judge, et cetera, et cetera. It's illegal. They're not allowed to do that. I always get pushback. It's like, well, people said it wasn't legal for him to do this and he did it anyway. People said it wasn't legal for him to do this and he did it anyway. Okay, but ICE is breaking the law in Minnesota. They are violating people's rights. I think y'all are missing the point that I'm trying to make. And that probably falls on me. So let me clarify what I mean. Yes, of course, Donald Trump is going to violate the law. Of course, the law is not an impediment to him. He wants to dismantle it. He is committed to violating the rule of law. That's what fascist fucks do. That's what Stephen Miller does. The whole point of their authoritarian advancement is to take away your rights and pocket them, to erode the rule of law sufficiently so that the only rule is what comes out of the mouth of the regime. It's the decree of Donald Trump. They want to make him a monarch. They want there to be no constitution. They want you to have no rights. They don't want any laws to stop them from enacting their terrible, horrible, white Christian nationalist, white supremacist, oppressive, woman-hating, minority-hating, isolationist vision. Like they don't want to uphold the rule of law. They're not going to obey laws. They are going to violate them. For the 5th time this week, y'all, you mean a fascist has no intention of following the law? Fork found in fucking kitchen. Water is wet. Duh. Of course he wants to trample the law. He wants to dismantle the law. He has no respect. The law is a threat to his fragile ego and his terrible plans. The point in saying it's not legal, he has no legal pathway, he can't do these things, is not because he's suddenly going to develop a respect for the law and say, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me that this thing is not legal and I can't do, oh my gosh, I'll totally stop what I'm doing because you reminded me about what the law is. Like that, no, y'all. The point is for us to remember what the law is. We only have rights if we exercise them. We only have the law if it is upheld and enforced. So the minute we start giving any credence to the idea that Donald Trump can just do whatever he wants and that laws will not constrain him, those laws suddenly cease to exist. When he violates the law, we must work to defend it. We must work to uphold it, whether that comes through lawsuits from our attorneys general or democracy docket, what have you. That's one pathway. The courts work very, very slow, unfortunately. Or whether it's if he tries some illegal action, we all take to the streets en masse, right? We should have, in an ideal world, if we had built our muscle way back when Elon Musk tried to ransack the federal government and dismantle federal agencies and steal all our private data, we should have had millions and millions of people camped out in the streets. There are lots of reasons why that lift was not possible back then. But that's what we do when they violate the law. We make them pay for it. We make it hurt. We make it backfire on them in pretty significant ways. They don't want to be held to any legal standard. They want to obliterate the Constitution and all laws. The checks and balances should come through Congress and come through the courts. It is slowly coming through the courts, except when we get to the radical, extremist activist judges, the uber conservative 6 on SCOTUS. Other than them, overwhelmingly the courts are upholding the rule of law. They just work really, really slowly. This could all be stopped in a heartbeat. It could have been stopped at least 25 times by now if Congress had done their job. It is Congress overwhelmingly who is failing us. I know that Amanda Nelson from Amanda Smile Takes likes to say that we don't have a problem with our president, we have a problem with our Congress. Because the minute any president started doing pulling the shit that Donald Trump is doing, Congress should have been impeach and remove, motherfucker. How dare you? Absolutely not. But instead, Republicans have decided they're going to be collaborators with fascism, and they're like, here, Daddy Donald, take all our power, take all our oversight, take everything that we have, but Congress is the most powerful branch of government. And instead, they've been like, take it, make yourself into a king, make yourself into a king. And I don't understand that. Historians like Heather Cox Richardson said early on that they felt that the big egos in the Senate, right, because there are a lot of big egos in the Senate, amongst the Republican Party, were going to rein Trump in. But no, they all have backdoor deals. How much of that is that there's like Epstein file shit on members of Congress? How much of that is other threats and intimidation? How much of that is just that they are craven white Christian nationalists on their own? And they're like, yeah, we're down. We're down for this. If this creates a theocracy in America, yeah, we're down. If this allows us to grift a little bit more, yeah, we're down. Who knows? Who knows? I'm sure a multiplicity of factors were at play. The issue is not us saying this is illegal means that Donald Trump is not going to do that thing. If it's illegal, he's going to do it. He's going to try it. The problem is that the components of our government who should be enforcing the law and stopping him from violating it are abdicating their duty. They are failing all of us. They will go down in history as collaborators with fascism, as people who are actively working to dismantle our republic. But we continue to know our rights, to exercise our rights, to remind each other of what the law is for us. We are doing that for us and not for Donald Trump. We don't expect it to stop him. What we expect it to do is for us to remind each other of democratic norms, how we deserve to live in a society with justice, with the rule of law. This is why I say if he tries to cancel midterms, there is no legal pathway for him to do that. There's no legal pathway for him to do that at all. If he tries that shit, because he might try and do something illegal. He's tried to cancel birthright citizenship and the courts have had to stop him. He's tried to do all kinds of terrible illegal things. And, like his tariffs, that's a power that Congress has. And it looks like Supreme Court is about to come and check him on that. So if he tries to cancel midterms, the appropriate response is that every member of Congress flips the fuck out and we all flip the fuck out and we're in the streets. Millions of us are in the streets. So this is why I say it does not actually matter that much what the regime does, because we know that they're going to do illegal shit. We know that they are going to be the fork in the fucking kitchen. We know what they're going to do. They are a known quantity. They use a pretty predictable playbook. It means what matters is our response. What matters is what we choose to do. So if Donald Trump violates the law, if he breaks the law and we don't do anything to stop him, that is now a power that he has claimed. That is a law that he has successfully obliterated, right? It matters how we respond. If he breaks the law, we all must act vigorously, aggressively, in large numbers, in sustained actions. Congress ideally should stop him, but they're not. This is why I said a year ago, Congress is not going to, they're not going to save us, right? Congress is not going to save us. It's up to us to save us. And there are loads of ways we can do that with our collective power. But it doesn't mean that just because we talk about how something is illegal, that Donald Trump is going to decide to obey the law. We should operate from a position and understanding that he will try to destroy the law in every possible way that he can, because that is the function of an authoritarian regime like his, is to dismantle the rule of law so that he sets himself up like a god, like a monarch, where whatever they say goes and you don't have any rights and they can do whatever they want to you with impunity. They can take away everything from you and there are no consequences. Right now, we must enforce consequences, or there will come a period of time where there are no laws and there are no consequences to enforce, right? So that's what I was trying to explain by highlighting the ways that he doesn't have a legal pathway to carry out those actions. It's not because we expect him to abide by the law at all, but because we expect us to mobilize and act, because we expect us to have to enforce the law, because Congress won't. What you do really, really matters. How we respond to his illegal actions matter. He wants us to cower in our homes and do nothing. He wants us to give him free rein, like a wide open highway, to just completely steamroll through all of our rights and completely dismantle all of the rule of law. And so when he tries to do that shit, it's up to us, the people, to stop him. That's the whole point of me referring to the rule of law over and over again. I'll keep doing it.